my gosh, over 40 people. You guys are as crazy as I am. Testing for sound, microphone, waiting for everything to get up and running. Please let me know if the volume is not working or if it is working. Amazing, I love that. Okay, that means we are ready to roll. Let's see, and okay, we'll go 3, 2, 1, and good evening, everyone, and warm greetings to wherever you are in the world. This is Amelia again, aka Spaced Up Puffin, and I am here to finish reading Volume 1 of Heaven Official's Blessing. And yes, I'm desperate. This is an act of desperation. And nothing really went to plan this weekend. So the moment I got home, I was like, what do I do with my evening? I've got like 6 hours before I should be in bed. And you know what? There's only one thing I really want to do. So here we are. Here we are, and I'm hoping to, you know, finally finish the last chapter of this book, which is a relatively short one that we checked from last time. Yeah, this is, I just threw on whatever was lying around, but I thought, hey, it's Sunlong's last appearance in a while, so we do need to wear red. So I did throw on this kimono, little Sunlong, what's it called? Like in honor of Sunlong, I'm forgetting the word right now. So little ponytail, a little red robe, and that's our Sunlong costume for today. Okay, it says my stream is in excellent connection, so hopefully everything will go all right this time as well. Last time went terrifically. I had so much fun doing the last stream with you guys, but yeah. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes to let people be aware that there is a stream going on, and we could talk a little bit about, you know, this thing, because this is all I want to talk about lately. Yeah, the TGCF reading withdrawal is so real. It's so real. It's sometimes, especially when I'm away from home, because when I'm at home, I can actually work on the videos or, you know, prepare for more reading. But when I'm away, that's usually not feasible. I even left the book here in my living room for this trip. And honestly, that was probably the wise decision, because if I'd brought it along, I might have just ended up reading it. Quickest shower hairdryer of your life. Thank you so much for making it, Gibby. I'm so happy to see you. Oh, okay, I made a short bucket list, or not a bucket list, just a short to-do list of things I wanted to do in this video. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna let people come in, like take some time to come in and join us, get comfy, get ready, get some snack. I saw someone had already gone to get some snack. So yeah, before we dive into it, it's so good to see you guys. Like I said, I feel a bit like desperate just coming here tonight to do this stream after I wasn't going to do it really, because yesterday just didn't fit. But hey, there's like 50 other people who are just as desperate as I am, it seems. So thank you guys so much for joining me. It makes me feel a little bit better, it does. Oh, yeah. There is sadly no great way to catch everyone for these live sessions, because I have followers like all over the world now. So there's always going to be someone who's like on the losing end, but I know that weekends are the best bet, so I really wanted to try and push this in for a weekend. Yeah, we're all in this desperation together. The shared desperation is real. And yeah, I just wanted to do something a little special just for reaching this milestone, you know. It is a milestone, even though it is the season 1 finale all over again. It's always good time zone. In here, it's always good time zone. GT said, everyone. Good time zone, everyone. Yeah. I don't actually know what the new videos are going to look like after this, after I start getting into like new content. Because here's the thing, like I did a little bit of math. So far, my videos have been 2 chapters, and they've been really long videos, usually about 3 hours now, 3 to 4 hours. It's insane, actually. But the English edition of TGCF has 140 chapters altogether. And this first volume had 11. So that's, 129 chapters left for the remaining 7 volumes. And that means that there's an average of 18.4 chapters per volume for the rest of this series. So the other chapters, I'm expecting the chapters to get a lot shorter. And, the chapters for volume 1 were really, really long. There were so many long chapters. And honestly, maybe that's another reason why the Banyue Arc seems to drag on for so long. We will not be doing this till 2050. 2050 is the MDZS Puffin video release date. Mark it in your calendars, guys. 2050, probably in the new year, don't know yet. But yeah, the quicker this moves along, the quicker we're gonna get to that, I suppose. Depending on how TGCF, infiltrates the other corners of my life. I used to be really into creating and like I was a fanfiction writer mainly in fandom before this happened. So who knows? Maybe I'll just want to spend time, exploring the fandom as well, and not just being at the creating side of it. So we'll see. Yeah, some books are longer. I know that book 5, she is thick. She is quite thick, but it's there are like most of them are about the size of volume 1, so around 300 to 400 pages. So yeah, I absolutely have no idea how long it's going to take us. But one thing is for sure, I will be going back to work in just a little less than 3 weeks. So that means that my productivity is probably going to go down. But also I've learned how to make these videos now, how I enjoy making them. And I know it's a lot of work, doing these read-alongs. But at the same time, I feel like this might be the way I prefer doing it. I get to go through the material thoroughly, and also I get to do it a couple of times. So I quite enjoy that, just getting to double read basically, once when I'm actually reading it and then when I'm trimming it, and then I can just go into the Discord server and the book club with you guys and just chat away about everything that we've noticed. And it's been so fun. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, let's give it a couple of more minutes. I have a few other things that I want to talk about, because we were talking about the Banyue Arc, and I think we're kind of done talking about the Banyue Arc actually. Oh, that was again only my second time going through the Banyue Arc, but still, what an arc! Yeah, we've already discussed it to hell and back in the Discord server. It's such a someone said that they barely even think about the Banyue Arc when they think about TGCF, and someone else said that volume 1 always takes them the longest to read. So there is something about the Banyue Arc. The thing is, it has a lot of great moments, but overall... Okay, so my understanding is that book 1 of TGCF, because, there's this whole thing about there are 8 English volumes, but there are 5 books or whatever. So book 1 of TGCF, as the author intended it, covers season 1 and 2, right? And the Banyue Arc is the middle act of that stretch of story. However, because it is, set up at the end of season 1 and also at the end of volume 1, it seems like it should be a finale sort of arc, but it's not. It's a very middle arc. It's made for setting up stuff, and it's it's made for setting up stuff, and it does that really well. Yeah, it puts down a lot of the foundation, and I genuinely do not think that the author was... I think she was far more interested in these little setups, setting up these characters, the story elements, and some of these mechanics and themes, rather than the setting of this story and its conclusion. I mean, like the arc by itself. Like the Banyue Arc doesn't have the greatest conclusion. It feels a bit like, in a sense. But it's necessary. Like, there are a lot of necessary things here. Like, we already know where a lot of these threads are gonna go. And I think that there are threads that I'm semi-aware of and also unaware of. I think that it will be fine or fun to go back and have a look at that as well. It's just too bad that it gets the finale treatment when it's really a setup arc, right? It was unfortunate that season 1 had to end on the Banyue Arc, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a good example of this. Sophia says, I don't dislike the Banyue Arc, but it did take me 5 months to read the first volume, and I blame the Banyue Arc because the other 7 volumes they read in a week. And that, yeah. I think that watching the Banyue Arc in the Donghua helps me a lot. It helps me digest it a lot more quickly. I think if I was reading it, I would have been a bit like, well, this is a weird way to end the book, though I suppose chapter 11 is maybe worth it. At least episode 12 of season 1 was really worth it. Yeah, and I think that's unfortunate because, again, the volume 1 in the English edition ends with the Banyue Arc and season 1 ends with the Banyue Arc. So it is unfortunate because if you watch season 1 only and you want to base your thoughts about TGCF on that, you might think it's a bit like the climaxes don't hit as well and so on. But the one thing that they did do well in the Banyue Arc, I think, so this is my personal opinion, is one of the differences they made, and that was with Peisho. The Donghua spends a lot more time on him. They give him that little flashback, and I think that was a good call, because it definitely helped me as a first-time viewer feel for him. You know, something aside from rage and disappointment, because he is, in fact, my arch nemesis. Yeah, it was nice. Honestly, I think the promise of Hualian is what pulls you through volume 1. Yeah, no, I actually did like that. I quite like that they did that for him because it gave that whole episode an emotional weight that I didn't feel before I watched that part of the episode, and at the same time it helps you remember him more clearly, because we pretty much just brushed past him in volume 1. Like, I feel like he was there and then he was gone again. So I quite like that we got to see a little bit from, you know, his perspective as the underdog. I quite like that kind of storytelling. But hey, the Banyue Arc is done and dusted. Our girl is pickled, and, you know, the nosy, self-appointed chaperons have gone home, finally. A function held on there for quite a while, but in the end, apparently, the promise of food is what sent him home. And the house husband's secret is now revealed, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been thinking about season 1, episode 12. Like, that's my reference for what chapter 11 is. So I've been thinking about it quite a lot. I've been posting some of my thoughts in the server as well. It's just been all over me. My head is just swamped with these scenes because that was such a good episode. Yeah, we are ready to enter the Puchi Shrine to be, you know, the quiet little flies on the walls as we witness Hualian. And again, like, this episode, I think, is what sold me on Hualian, because they're just so... like by now I was pretty convinced, but this episode was just a nail in the coffin, so to speak. I need to stop using that. I need to stop using that. It's not, I'm not allowed to use that anymore. Brings up bad memories. But yeah, it just convinced me of it because, you know, from the very beginning, I was like, well, the aesthetic is cute. It's a ship that has a lot of the tropes that I enjoy. Like, I quite enjoy the thing where they have like a past that we kind of need to explore, and especially the fact that you have one character who's doing something, who's sacrificed something for another character, and they don't know yet, and we have to like figure this all out. Like, there's a lot of nice, delicious tension to get there, but this chapter, well, this episode, is what kind of convinced me that, oh, we're serious. Like, again, we're being vulnerable. In this chapter, we're being so vulnerable. And again, this is key. Based on, like I did bring this up when we were watching season 1, like based on actual science of the science of human relationships, which is just, it makes it so nice. Again, I can't remember seeing relationships like this in fiction for like a long time, especially in fantasy fiction. We never really get to see people meet and just be people. There's always some sort of dramatic situation around them that forces them into recognizing their feelings. Well, these moments of vulnerability, like choosing to be vulnerable with each other, is what actually builds that feeling of trust and closeness to a person, even if you haven't known them for that long. So yeah, honestly, this was it. This was the one episode that just had me completely gone. I went into season 2 already shipping them to the ends of the earth and back. So what a lovely ship. It's so nice to get to have a ship like this. I feel like I haven't had a ship like this in ages. Yeah, it's a little bit of that equal footing. It's that they're both choosing to be vulnerable. However, there's still this layer in the fact that Sanlang hasn't told Hualian everything. So we have this inequality in that Sanlang still perceives Hualian as better than him, as God, you know. So we still haven't gotten there yet. We're not equals yet, because we can't be equals as long as Sanlang keeps thinking about Hualian as someone worth more than him. And that is something that I hope that the author actually explores in their relationship building. Oh yeah, Will, you haven't read this yet. Well, I'll see you later, Will. You enjoy. Because I've enjoyed this so far. I'm super excited about this. Other than that, I do have a couple of more things that I'm kind of pushing into the next time I do a video. I'm not doing mentions in this video because it's going to be like, I'm going to spend so much time just fixing everything and you're just going to be sat there waiting for me and I'll, you know, make a mess out of it. So we're not doing mentions this video, but thank you guys so much, everyone who donated to my coffee this previous time period, not even a week, like a few days. Thank you guys so much. And also, I did get more mail. I tried to go by my mailbox, the post box, at least once a week, every time I go grocery shopping. So that's usually once a week. So I did get another postcard, so I'll put that up as well in the next video that I film. And the last thing I wanted to do before we start reading. We've been here for 20 minutes, so we're ready to start reading soon. But I'm going to spend a little time looking at the question I received from my wonderful, wonderful followers over at the Temple of Corkboards. So you guys know this by now. We play this little game in my server, in the followers chat, where we get to ask Puffin, that's me, a random question whenever we guess how long Puffin is going to spend recording a video, which has lately been everywhere between 4 and 6 hours. It's pretty insane. But the closest guess this time around was from Frog's Army, and they actually guessed within a minute, like within 2 minutes. They were 1 minute away from like grand prize, getting to come up with a fun challenge for me, which is why the mooching thing happened. If you guys were around for that, yeah, that was because of that. But I did want to answer their question, so they also pulled up a question for me behind a black box, and I'm gonna go ahead and tap that and read it out loud for you. So, from Frog's Army, I have the question already. Following the past questions you can open on camera. Okay? So this is my first time reading this, guys. So let's see. Out of all the background characters, which one would you be most interested in reading about and why? Oh. Can be any background character excluding Nanfang and Fuyao. Well, I'm not interested anymore. I can't pick Nanfang and Fuyao? What do you mean? They're like the only people I'm interested in. Yeah, this question, I can't do it, guys. Can't do it. We can go home now. Yeah, no. This is hard. This is so hard. I actually don't think that there is a single character on this board I am not interested in. But I don't know, I feel like it's unfair to pick characters who are still concepts, you know? Because, of course, I want to know more about characters who've just been mentioned by name, or who are just, you know, yeah. Like, you know, I'd love to know more about Bai Wuxiang, because they're just a concept right now. And the same with like people like Xiao Buru, who's just been mentioned a couple of times. It's but what characters? Like if I had to pick one. I guess there are a couple. Like there are like okay, let's do one at least. Let's like one character I am super interested in knowing more about, who we already know quite a bit about, is actually it's Pei Ming. Big surprise for everyone. The thing about Pei Ming, guys, look, he's the way I experience Pei Ming in season 1 is that, you know, he is he's a player, fuckboy kind of personality, but he has principles, right? He has really, really good principles. Oh, there's an airplane. Let's wait for that to pass. Can you guys hear that, by the way? Can you? Okay, it's paused. Okay, so season 1, he is kind of like this fuckboy dude with principles, but then, you know, the whole Pei Shaw thing happens, and we're going to season 2, and he spends all of season 2 being like really prissy about this whole situation. But I keep watching him with this knowledge I have from season 1 and from talking to you guys in the comment section. Like, I know that he is kind of a fan favorite. Like, I already know this piece of information, and I feel like you don't get to be a fan favorite for whatever happened in season 1 and 2. So that is one thing. But also, like, one of the things that we learned recently about Pei Ming that I didn't know about before is that he is actually, as I understand it now, 9,000 temples, guys. He's like, he's above Function and Mooching in popularity. He has, you know, he is apparently like one of the strongest gods after, you know, the Emperor, who's the strongest. So he I didn't know that watching season 1 and season 2, and that kind of puts a little bit different perspective on this, because that means that, he's a heavy hitter, and we've basically spent the setup part of book 1 kicking him down. Like, arc 1, the Ghost Groom arc, was about him losing face. Arc 2 is about him losing Pei Shaw, who was, he was ascended as well, but he was his deputy, and he had big plans for him. And all of that, it just went to hell. And that's kind of important when you have 9,000 temples and you've just lost one of the gods managing that. I kind of understand how, the whole of Mingguang Palace must be in a bit of, uproar. It's a bit hard to manage these things that you used to be able to manage if you've just lost one of the gods doing these things. And that kind of, if I think about it, you know how Pei Ming was supposed to be responsible for, keeping watch over heaven for that period, that the array was connected to Shanle Palace? Like, maybe he was struggling a bit because of, losing Pei Shaw as his deputy, because this must have happened in the time after the Banyue Arc, right? Because we don't even know that the Emperor built the Shanle Palace before, after we go up there. So, he has, he's been on the losing side for a bit, and I feel like maybe we're going into a sort of like redemption thing with him. I'm not sure. I don't think that I don't think that Hua Chang, for instance, is directly involved in him losing face like this. Even though, it did end up being a positive thing for Hua Chang in that he managed to build that array thing. But there's certainly something going on with Pei Ming, and we will be keeping our eye on him, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I didn't catch up on any other comments while I was doing this. I was trying to kind of go through my own head. But lots of Pei Ming love. I love that. Lots of interesting comments from my lovely moderators. Guys, please remember to keep the chat spoiler-free as possible, so that we don't have to, do anything about that. Oh yeah, one more person I need to mention. Okay, so you guys are gonna be so tired of me because of this, but fucking mooching, man. Okay, look. I feel like I don't need to tell you guys why mooching is interesting to me, because I see all my fucking videos. I feel like I keep having to talk about it. But recently in this book 1 reading, I encounter some things that I just don't understand yet, that I can't, I spend a lot of time trying to figure out a character's agency, like what they're doing, why they're doing it, and trying to kind of get into that. But there's a couple of things with mooching that I don't understand. And from reading, there's been a couple of moments where he's described to have he's with Hualian usually, and he's described to either either be smiling or feel seeming a bit smug whenever we're describing one of Hualian's more unfortunate circumstances. We have a word for that in Norwegian. I know Germany also has a word for it. I don't know how to say the German word. It's called skadefryd. It's kind of like when you feel a little bit of, not joy per se, but at other people's expense, in a sense. Yeah, that's the word. I have a lot of German followers for some reason. Germans are actually my second biggest viewer class, and I love that. That's the word. And it's so weird to me, because it happens whenever we're getting to, again, see some of Hualian's more unfortunate circumstances, and it is directly at odds with him being here at all. Why are you showing up then? This guy is full of so much, contradictions, and I think that's intriguing because I want to know if there's a reason behind this. I want to know what these things mean. And at the same time, that's very like, it's so human. Like we're so like this. We are incredibly, we're incredibly contradictive like that. Like we'll have reactions to things, and only like even if we try to explain it, it's like something that maybe only we as people personally can understand. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to know, but I especially noticed that because that's not something we were ever really exposed for in the Donghua. Like, sure, it could be implied. We see Fu Yao smirking a lot, you know, but it's just one thing that I noted, and I want to know more about why, like, him everything really. Like, he is definitely still the more intriguing character between him and Feng Xin, although Feng Xin did score a lot of points and a lot of intrigue with me in the end of season 2. Okay, thank you guys so much again for staying with me for my discussion part, because yeah, that was the discussion part, and I am done with that, and it's been half an hour already. I wanted to spend like maybe 20 minutes on this tops, but as per usual, I end up talking way too much, especially for these questions. Thank you guys so much for sending in these questions, my dear followers. Frogs Army, thank you so much. It was a great question. I'm gonna go get just a little bit of water before we start, so let's get ready to read. You guys go fill up your bottles, your cups, whatever, and after that, give me a quick moment, and then I'll be back to start reading chapter 11 of Heaven Official's Blessing. Okay, be right back. Okay, we are back again. I realized I just lost Arya. Bye bye, Arya. You sleep well. I'll see you in the replay, I suppose. I hope you'll enjoy listening to this tomorrow. Okay, let's see. Okay, I've got my notes ready. I've got my very, very important little my tallies. I've got my tallies with me. My Laugh or Cry tally, my Gaga tally, and my Hualian tally. The ellipsis answer. So I've got that ready. Got that ready to go. And also I need to pick a pen. I feel like we should do a Sunlang one because this is Sunlang's last appearance in a while. So I'm gonna go with the Sunlang pen, I think. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get the Sunlang pen. Let's do the one with the paintbrush. Oh, I feel like I should have used this one for the chapter where he painted the portrait. I didn't notice that he had a paintbrush before just now, actually. But yeah, here we go. We've got our pen ready to take notes if need be. We've got our book ready. And let's see, let me just make sure to pause the desktop audio for a little bit. And here we are. Okay, time to read chapter 11 of TGCF, volume 1, and then finish off this one. End of an era, guys. Time to pick up a new book, which is volume 2, which has my favorite cover, so honestly, can't wait to finish it. Let's see. So yeah, if you have your book, I hope it's in your hand right now, or if you're reading on your phone, I hope that's ready to go. We're gonna wait a second while the airplane passes over. You guys have no idea how often I have to pause in a recording to wait for a fucking airplane to pass by. Okay, book's ready. And here we go. Chapter 11. Poking the Ghost King, the Crown Prince seeks truth. Poking the Ghost King, as in we're just like trying to look for, get him to talk more, I guess, to reveal more things. Okay, let's do it. Crimson Rainsword Flower? Hualian asked. Your Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, Sanlang replied. Hualian finally turned around with a grin. That's the first time I've heard you address me like that. The red-clad youth sat on the mat and propped up a leg, also grinning. How does it feel? Hualian gave it a thought and replied truthfully. It feels a little different than when others call me by that title. Is this gonna be me for like this whole chapter? I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I can do this after all. Oh my gosh. That's one of my favorite things, that Sanlang calling Hualian by that title doesn't feel like we learned in volume 1. It's like an insult. It feels like an insult a lot of the time when heaven officials use it, because it's pretty, can be pretty condescending. But when Sanlang says it, how so? Huachang asked. Hualian tilted his head, his eyes squinting a little. It's hard to say, it's just... When others called him Your Highness, some were emotionless and all business, like Ling Wen. But most of the time, when people called him Your Highness, it was laced with a sense of disdain, like how one would intentionally address an ugly woman as a beauty, somewhat sarcastic. Yet, when Huachang called him Your Highness, the two words were uttered with grave sincerity. So while it was hard to describe, Hualian felt that when Huachang called him Your Highness, it was different from when others used that title. Exactly. I'm just having a moment. I'm quite emotional about this whole part, actually. I'm keeping it together, though. He continued. That night at Mount Yujun, the groom who whisked me away was you, right? Huachang's smile deepened meaningfully, and that made Hualian realize his words may have been too ambiguous. He quickly corrected himself. Yeah, I guess the way Hualian phrased it right there, it's like that groom was you, as in you know, my groom who whisked me away. I'm sure you didn't mean to say that, Hualian. I'm sure. We all know it. I meant the groom in disguise who led me away was you, right? I wasn't disguising myself as a groom, Huachang replied. Technically speaking, Huachang wasn't wrong. The young man at the time never said he was a groom or anything. In fact, he didn't say anything at all. He only stopped in front of the marriage sedan and extended his hand. It was Hualian who went with him willingly. Fine, then why did you appear like that? Hualian asked. This question only has two possible answers, Huachang said. First, that I came specifically for your Royal Highness. Second, that I was passing by and was free. Which do you think is more believable? God, you're such a boy failure, Huachang. We all know. Hualian counted the number of days Huachang had spent with him and replied earnestly, which is more believable, I can't say, but you do seem to have a lot of free time. Yeah. He does have a lot of free time, apparently. Oh my god. I'm envisioning just the scene in the Donghua in my head. Like, I don't know why, but like I know so many of these lines and so many of these scenes by heart. So I know that Huachang in the English dub of the Donghua doesn't say that I was free. He says I was bored. Yeah. It's not free time, it's designated Gege time. That's exactly what it is. Okay. Where was I? Which do you think is more believable? Here we are. Which is more believable, I can't say, but you do seem to have a lot of free time. His entire person and his gaze both circled around Hua Chang, going back and forth, and after a long while he said, "You're quite different from what the rumors say." Hua Chang changed his sitting position, but with a hand still propping up his cheek. He watched Hualian and asked, "Oh? And how did your Royal Highness figure out that I am Crimson Rain Salt Flower?" The images of that umbrella dripping with blood, that gently clinking silver chain, and those cold silver vambraces filled Hualian's mind. He thought, "It's not like you were trying very hard to hide yourself." Even after all the probing, you gave nothing away, so you must be a supreme. You're dressed all in red, like the maples, like blood, and seem to know everything, seem to be capable of everything. And know no fear, and such magnanimity. I have no idea how to pronounce that, and I'm not looking it up right now. And such magnanimity, other than Crimson Rain Salt Flower, who all the heaven officials fear. There didn't seem to be anyone else you could be. Hua Chang laughed. "May I take those words as a compliment?" "Can't you tell they're compliments?" Oh my god, Hualian. Oh my god. Someone said like this is How to Flirt 101 written by Hua Chang. Are you sure this is not How to Flirt 101 written by co-authored by Hualian? Because yeah. Can't you tell they're compliments? Oh my gosh. Okay. Sparing so many words, how come your Royal Highness doesn't question my motives in coming close to you? Hua Chang asked. His smile curved somewhat. If you didn't want to say anything and I asked, would you tell? Or you might not tell me the truth, Hualian said. That's not necessarily true, Hua Chang said. Besides, you can always kick me out, Hualian replied. You're so powerful, even if I kicked you out now. If you really wanted to do something bad, wouldn't you just change your skin and come back? The two met eyes and grinned. Oh gosh, I'm not ready for it. It's Banyue. We're gonna have the Banyue talk, but oh my gosh, the two locked eyes and grinned. Why? Why are they so silly? Oh, this is so nice. This is so nice is the word I'm feeling. I'm feeling the feeling of nice, basically. It's so warm inside. So the two met eyes and grinned. Suddenly a small knocking noise broke the temporary silence in the shrine. They looked to where the sound came from, and there wasn't anyone, only that small black clay pot rolling on the ground. It was the same pot Banyue was tucked in. Hualian had casually placed it next to the mat, but somehow it had tipped itself over and rolled to the floor. Blocked by the wooden door built by Hua Chang, it started hitting the door by rolling into it repeatedly. Hualian was worried it might break itself, so he opened the door, and the little clay pot rolled into the grass field outside. And Hualian followed behind it. Okay. Yeah, we're going into that part, which I remember was a really powerful scene in the Donghua as well. And it was good to kind of get a little bit of a break from Hualian, actually, because I remember I was... It's almost a bit like, it's almost a little bit tiring, but in a good way to watch them go at each other like that. It's good. It's good. Yeah, who said this would be a short chapter? I knew I was going to struggle with this chapter, but it's because I knew what kind of chapter it was going to be. It's one of those chapters that when you're reading it by yourself, you really do find yourself, just. It's one of those chapters. It's supposed to be like that. Okay. Yeah, Banyue was just trying to give them some space, but instead we're gonna follow Banyue and figure out what's happening. Okay. Hualian followed behind it and saw that once the little clay pot made it to the grass field, it stood itself up. Even if it was only a pot, it gave the impression that it was gazing at the night sky. Huachang also emerged from the shrine, and Hualian called out to the pot, "Banyue, are you awake?" Thankfully. When they returned from the gobi, it was already deep into the night. Otherwise, if anyone had seen Hualian ask a pot how it was doing, they would probably make a huge fuss again. A moment later, the sulky voice of a girl came from the pod. "General Hua." Hualian sat down next to it. "Banyue, have you rolled out here to stargaze? Why don't you come out?" Huachang was leaning against a tree next to them and said, "She only just left the Banyue ruins. Probably best if she stays in there for a while longer." After all, Banyue had stayed in Banyue for 200 years, and the sudden change of environment might be hard to adjust to. Okay. I wonder if that is a mechanic that affects more ghosts than just Banyue. That might come into play later, the more we learn about other certain ghosts, I'm just saying. Hualian said, "Then you'd best stay in there for a while longer and heal. This is where I train, so you don't have to worry about anything else." The pot shook twice, as if trying to say something. After chewing on his words, Hualian said, "Banyue, the incident this time actually didn't concern you. Your scorpion snakes were..." "General Hua, I couldn't move at the time, but I heard everything," Banyue said. Hualian was taken aback. Only then did he learn that Pei Shuo only sealed Banyue's movement, not her senses. Just as well. If she heard everything, it was just as well. The clay pot asked, "General Hua, what will happen to General Pei Jr.?" Hualian crossed his arms in his sleeves. "I don't know, but wrongdoings will always be punished." Another moment of silence. The pot shook twice, and Hualian finally understood that the shaking was a nod in agreement. "General Pei Jr. is actually not a bad person," Banyue said. "Is that right?" Banyue replied. "He's helped me before." Somehow, many more memories suddenly came back to Hualian. Banyue often received beatings, and in the words of the other young children, she bore the face that asked for it. It took a long time after Hualian met her before he learned of this, since no matter how many beatings Banyue received, she wouldn't tell anyone. It wasn't until one day, when Hualian saw a group of children pressing her face into the mud, that he learned where all those bruises on her face came from. But when he asked her about it, sometime afterwards, she only remembered that she had to wash the handkerchief from the boy who pulled her out of the mud pit before she returned it, and nothing else. The handkerchief, guys, it's in the Donghua. The handkerchief, it's in the book as well. Like, they included it as just, this item that Hualian kind of comes across, and then we kind of see the flashback as well. Like, that's the item, the artifact that kind of like binds us to that time. So we see this happen, and it's actually not a Donghua only item. It appears in the book, and I quite like what they did with that. Yeah, that was nice. I quite like that. Okay. She remembered none of the ones who beat her, but the ones who saved her once she remembered for a lifetime. Banyue continued, although Kamo always said scornfully that I had my mind possessed, that I had been completely used, whether General Pei Jr. used me or not, I knew it was my own will to open the city gates. Hualian didn't know what to say anymore, but he could feel some part of his heart soften. A moment later, he patted that clay pot. All right, it's all in the past. Oh, by the way, Banyue, the name Huaxie is fake, and I haven't been a general for a long time. You don't have to keep calling me General Hua. Then how should I address you? Banyue asked. That was actually a good question. If Banyue called him Your Highness, seriously, it would feel weird. Hualian didn't really care about his address either. He just wanted to change the subject. Oh my gosh. That's up to you. I suppose it's okay if you keep calling me General Hua. Only there was another here with that surname. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's another here with the surname Hua. So that might cause some confusion. But then he thought Huaxie was a fake name he took from the first word of the title Flower Crown Martial God, so Hua Chang may very well be a fake name too. That they both coincidentally picked the same word flower for a surname was rather interesting. Coincidentally, eh? Coincidentally? Oh, okay, yeah, no, I got a bit taken out of the Banyue part. I adore her so much. She was also given a little bit more oomph in the Dongma, I think, but not as much. Like, she still feels very familiar reading about her. But she's just one of those characters that has this, like, her story and her emotions about it, especially as expressed here. It's just, you know, it's very much, it could very much be a little bit of a foil for Hualian's own experiences as well. And I love their relationship. I do. I hope that we get more time with them, because she wasn't there for all of season 2, which was kind of disappointing for me actually. But I bet that it's because we had other things to do, you know. She got a little bit of a cameo in that we got to listen to her voice in the last episode, but yeah. Anyway, let's talk more. Very interesting that they had the same last name. Honestly, it's not. It's a coincidence, right, Hualian? But you know, in the future, it's just you know, it's lucky. It's lucky that you guys did that already, so that we don't have to mess around with the paperwork in the future. You're saving time. It's time saving. I'm sorry, General Hua, Banyue said again. Hualian turned back to look at her and said woefully, Banyue, why are you always apologizing to me? Did he really look that sorry to people? From within the pot, Banyue declared, I want to save the common people. I didn't mean to laugh, but I could already see the ellipsy answer from Hualian, so we're noting that down. Oh my gosh, Hualian, just. General Hua, you said that once, Banyue said. So yeah, Hualian ellipsis answer. Hualian was speechless. General Hua, you said that once, Banyue said. Ellipsis answer, but a question mark, so we're getting one of those as well. This is impressive, Hualian. Oh my gosh, just the wall of ellipses is in the chat right now. Wow. He quickly pressed down on the clay pot. Wait, hold on a sec. Wait for what? Banyue asked. Hualian snuck a glimpse at Hua Chang, who was still leaning against the tree with his arms crossed, and said in a low voice, Did I really say that? What are you trying? Are you trying to just not to look good in front of your your friends, your new friends? Oh my god, Hualian, he's so silly. I love him. That was his favorite saying when he was only 10-something years old. In the many centuries thereafter, he couldn't have uttered those words at all, so hearing them so suddenly made it difficult to accept. However, Banyue was firm. General, those were your words. Hualian still wanted to argue. I don't think so, Banyue told him sternly and coldly. Oh, no, you did say them. There was a time when you asked us all what we wanted to do when we were older. Everyone answered. And afterwards you said, my dream since I was little was to save the world, the common people. Another fucking ellipsis answer. We're making a lot of progress on the tally, at least, if nothing else. Dad, you're so cool. Stop being embarrassed. Yeah. How come Hualian can be so good at gaslighting and at the same time so bad at it? He keeps failing to gaslight his children. They know him too well. Yeah, she's embarrassing him in front of his crush. Oof. So that was it. Banyue, why would you remember something so clearly said completely randomly? Banyue was confused. Randomly? But General Hua, I thought those words were said very earnestly. Hualian gazed up at the night sky, feeling helpless. Really? Maybe. I don't remember whatever else I might have said. You also said, do what you think is right, Banyue told him. Nothing can block your way. Even if you fall in the mud 100 times, you must get up with determination, and a lot more similar sayings. Yeah, the pft was both from me and from Hua Chang, actually. He didn't need to look back to know that it was definitely Hua Chang under the tree who laughed at that. Even smothering the pot now wouldn't help, Hualian thought. What nonsense, what nonsense, why did I keep saying those kinds of things? I'm nothing like that, am I? Oh gosh, yes you are, Hualian, yes you are. This is only like 200 years ago too, like, well, only I say a lot can happen in 200 years, but yeah, that's, and this was after the Yong'an arc, right? The whole Fengxin arc. So, yeah, I think this is very just intrinsic to his character, really, like. But now that he's ascended again, maybe it's like more difficult to reconcile with these words and his behavior now that he's back in this kind of situation. I don't know actually. It's interesting though. But the point of the scene is, you know, to make sure that we're exposing some vulnerabilities basically, and making sure that both Hualian and also Hua Chang gets to hear them. Alright. Where were we? Yeah, okay. So Hualian has his little thoughts like, I'm nothing like that, am I? Yes, you are. And Banyue says, but I don't know what's right anymore, Banyue said. Hualian froze at those words. I wanted to do as General Hua said and save the people, Banyue continued. But in the end, I destroyed the kingdom of Banyue. Her voice was lost. And it seemed that no matter what I did, the results were all horrible. General Hua, I know I didn't do things right, but can you tell me, where did I go wrong? How can I do as you said and save the common people? Hualian replied, I'm sorry, Banyue. How to save the world, the common people? I didn't know the answer to that question back then, and even now, I still don't. Banyue went silent for a moment, then said dejectedly, General Hua, to be honest, it feels like for the past 200 years I've had no idea what I'm doing. I'm such a failure. Hearing her, Hualian became more depressed, thinking, doesn't that make me even more of a failure? And I've lived for 800 years too. Hualian left the little ghost Banyue in the pot to stargaze alone and calm down. he went back inside Puchi Shrine with Huachang. After closing the door, Hualian suddenly spoke up. Banyue remained at Banyue Pass willingly. It wasn't because she became a wrath that she was trapped there. She always remembered that it was she who opened the city gates and had never given any excuses, like saying she was doing it for the people. It was to help the Banyue soldiers vent their resentment so they could leave this world sooner, that she allowed Kamo to lead them to murder her over and over. Yeah, she could have left, but she made the choice to stay and to let the ghost soldiers and to let Kamo capture her again and again and again and hang her every time. This sort of self-sacrificing tendency is the same that we see in Hualian. Like, she is definitely a foil to Hualian and what we see of him and his actions in the Function Arc 1. But I also suspect, like I said this in season 1 as well, but I suspect that this is like one of the overarching themes with Hualian's character. Like, this is definitely one of those, like father and daughter moments. One of those unfortunate side effects of nature and nurture, but this is all through nurture, guys. Yeah, but she did that. And I think that's an important part of Banyue's character, and I think it is a reflection of Hualian's character. He was, along with Peisho, one of the first people to show her kindness, and she probably would not have survived on the streets if not for Hualian, helping her get food, helping her grow a little, and teaching her some skills that would help her later on. And also to give her that, that steadfastness and also that belief in that she could have a goal and something worth achieving. I think that gave her the drive that she needed in order to survive and to become stronger even after his death. Hualian, you need to stop raising your kids like yourself. Everyone needs to go to therapy. Family therapy, it seems. Gosh. Oof. Okay. Long Chencho and Banyue should chat. Yeah, they would have a few things in common. Long Chencho is a bit busy though. I really hope that he would pop by the orphanage though. Get to know the occupants. Let's see. Okay, so she allowed Kamo to lead them to murder her over and over. Hualian shook his head. If General Pei Jr. really didn't want to leave those Banyue soldiers behind and also didn't want the heavens to find out, he could have easily sent a clone to secretly descend and take care of them. Why did he do it this way instead? Clones don't have the same amount of power, Huachang said. You saw how Pei Shaw's clone Aja was. He couldn't take care of so many Banyue soldiers, so feeding them the living was the fastest way and easiest way to disperse their resentment. Why did it have to be so fast? Hualian wondered. Maybe it's so little Banyue wouldn't have to hang so painfully as many times, Huachang replied. Yeah, a little hint there to their relationship, and I think that's pretty on point actually. I think he might be right on that. Hualian was silent for a moment. But what about immortals? Huachang replied quietly. They're heavenly officials. Mortals are nothing but ants in their eyes. Peisho is a classic highly ranked god. As long as no one found out, killing a few hundred people is no different than stomping a few hundred insects to death. Yeah, this is Hua Chang's, perspective. This is what he thinks of heaven officials. But as we know, there's one heaven official that wouldn't do that ever. I'm sure there are a few. But Hua Chang is kind of biased. He's found his fave, and he couldn't care what the others were up to. Hualian glanced at him and recalled that when Sanlang jumped into the sinner's pit, he wiped out all the Banyue soldiers in a flash. He turned to him and said, "Clones don't have the same amount of power. I see your clone is pretty powerful." Hua Chang arched his brow. "It would be, but I'm the real thing." We have the emote for that. We have the emoji where he does that. It's cute. It's cute. Hualian turned to look at him, somewhat surprised. This is your true form. 100% authentic, Hua Chang declared. He's so proud. If anything must be blamed, it would have to be the look on Hua Chang's face, like he was welcoming Hualian to test it out himself. Without thinking, Hualian raised a finger and poked Hua Chang's face. After poking, Hualian snapped back to himself in shock, yelping, "Oh no," in his head. Okay, so in the Donghua, he actually grabs his whole face. He doesn't just poke his face, he grabs his whole face. Here he's poking the Ghost King, of course, that's the title. It happens. It was the title drop, Poking the Ghost King. Quite literally, it had nothing to do with poking answers out of him. We were just poking him in the face. Oh my gosh. Facebook circa 2012 is back. Someone should get a screenshot of that. Facebook 2012 edition, and it's just like user Hualian poked Hua Chang. Okay, let's try and get through this. I'm being so slow at this, guys. I am so sorry. But now you know why it takes me hours and hours to film these videos. This is me whenever I actually read a chapter. He was only curious to see what a Supreme Ghost King's fake skin would feel like, but apparently his body moved faster than his mind and poked him. How extremely outrageous of him! To have someone suddenly poke him, Hua Chang looked somewhat shocked too. But he was always calm and collected, so his expression cleared instantly. He didn't say anything, but his arched brow raised even higher, as if waiting for Hualian to explain. The laughter in his eyes was apparent. Of course Hualian couldn't explain himself. He looked at his own finger and then hid it away, betraying nothing of his thoughts. Not bad. Hua Chang finally burst out laughing, and he crossed his arms with his head tilted. What's not bad? Do you mean the skin? Yeah, it's quite good, Hualian said sincerely. But what? Hua Chang asked. Hualian stared at his face and studied it for a moment, then finally said, "But can I see your real face?" Here we go. Since he said the skin, that meant that while this body was the true form, the skin wasn't his real one, and his appearance was not his true face. This time, Hua Chang didn't respond immediately and dropped his arms. Maybe it was all in Hualian's head, but Hua Chang's eyes dimmed a little, and Hualian's heart tightened despite himself. When the air froze, Hualian knew his question may have crossed the line. Although for the past few days, the two of them had gotten along well, that didn't mean they were so close that he could make this type of request. Without waiting for his response, Hualian quickly smiled. "I was just asking, don't take it to heart." Hua Chang closed his eyes, and a moment after, he smiled softly. "I'll let you see it someday, if there's a chance." If anyone else said that, it would naturally be perfunctory. Someday usually meant, please forget it. But it was Hua Chang who said it. So Hualian felt that someday meant someday, and it would surely happen. That made him even more curious, and he grinned. Then I'll wait till the day you feel it's okay to show me. Let's rest for now. Yeah. Hua Chang's sincerity. I don't think we're gonna get the line, by the way. I don't think, like, before we even get there, I don't think we're gonna get the line that we get in the Donghua, which is, you know, when they lay down to sleep and we get to hear Hua Chang think, I'm always sincere with you. But I feel like this chapter is kind of just the embodiment of that line. Like, this is Hua Chang's sincerity. It's all about how sincere he is. And yes, there's the banter, but with these things, with the things that others would probably say just to brush it off, to make it go away, he means it. And it's so fun, it's so gorgeous. It's this chapter is just making me have all kinds of fuzzy feelings, and I love this. This is the Bible of Hualian, guys. It's and this is our service. Amen. After bustling about for half the night, Hualian had long since tossed the idea of cooking to the back of his mind and returned to lying on the straw mat. Hua Chang also lay down next to him. No one bothered questioning why, after coming clean about their identities, a god and a ghost could still lie together on a crappy mat, laughing and chatting. The straw mat didn't have pillows, so Hua Chang used his arms, and Hualian imitated him in pillowing his head on his arms too. He mentioned casually, "The ghost realm seems so idle. Don't you guys ever need to report back to anyone?" Hua Chang not only used his arms as a pillow, but he propped his leg up too. He replied, "Report to whom? I'm the biggest one there is. Besides, we all mind our own business. No one bothers anyone." So the ghost realm was made up of many disorganized bands of lost souls and feral ghosts. Hualian replied, "Is that so? I thought it would be like the upper court, with a central government. If it's like that, have you ever met any other ghost kings before?" "I have," Hua Chang said. "Even Green Ghost Chi Rong?" "You mean that lowly vulgar trash?" Well, what do I say to that? Hualian thought. Yes? No? Okay, I think this is, now we kind of know, because in, season 1, it wasn't as obvious to us as it is in the book, but Hualian already kind of suspects, you know. He already kind of suspects that, Chi Rong could be, maybe, sort of, like, he reacted to it at least. So he's trying to fish for more information, so that is why he's asking Hua Chang here, to let him know a little bit more. So we're not going to get the reveal still, of course, because that's for later. But it's good to know that he is kind of like, oh, he saw this as an opportunity to kind of prod around a little bit. Thankfully, he didn't need to say anything, as Hua Chang continued. I greeted him, and he ran away. Hualian had a hunch that this greeting couldn't have been your regular sort of greeting. Sure enough, Hua Chang said casually, "And then I received the moniker Crimson Rainbow Flower." Another ellipsy answer. So before, when he mentioned wiping out the lair of another ghost, he was talking about Green Ghost Chi Rong, and this greeting was carnage. What an extraordinary greeting, Hualian thought, rubbing his chin. Do you have something against the Green Ghost Chi Rong? Yeah, Huacheng replied. What's that? Can't stand his face. Well, that is certainly one way of saying it. Oh my gosh, the fucking ellipsis answers. Every time there's an ellipsis answer and I actually mention it out loud, I'm just seeing like the chat is just full of ellipses. Hualian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Okay, we have another one. We have another one for the laugh or cry tally. We're up to 6, guys. That one's an important one. Okay. Hualian didn't know whether to laugh or cry, thinking, did you challenge those 33 heavenly officials because you also didn't like their face? Well, yeah, you didn't like their faces. Yeah, that could be part of it. Again, I think this is personal. I think it's personal. So he definitely remembered their faces. The officials of the upper courts all call him vulgar, and even the ghost realm scorns him. Is that true? It's true. Even Blackwater is disgusted with him, Huacheng replied. Who's Blackwater? Yeah, I'd like to know, Hualian. Hualian asked, then recalled. Oh, is that the one called Ship-Sinking Blackwater? That's right. He's also known as the Blackwater Demon Xuan. This is a new title. I don't think I've heard this before. Blackwater. Blackwater Demon Xuan. Okay. Hualian remembered that this Blackwater Demon Xuan was also a supreme, but Green Ghost Qi-Rong was only almost a supreme, and just there for the head count. He asked, interested, Are you close with this Demon Xuan? No, Huacheng replied lazily. There aren't many in the ghost realm I'm close with. Now Hualian was amazed. Is that so? I thought you'd have many subordinates. Well, he does. Maybe our definition of close is different. Definitely is. Huacheng quirked his brow. Yeah, in the ghost realm, those lower than supreme have no right to speak to me. It was an exceedingly arrogant statement, but Huacheng made it sound so indisputable and self-evident. Hualian smiled softly. You have it pretty good in the ghost realm. It's only so big. Not like the heavens another airplane, guys. Wait for a second. I think that one took off from the other side actually, so it's not gonna be over this place. Okay. Yeah. So Hualian is like, yeah, pretty good in the ghost realm. It's only so big, not like the heavens. I can barely remember the heavenly officials in the upper court, and there are many more waiting to ascend in the middle court. It's like an ocean of names. What good is it to remember them? Don't bother. It's a waste of your brain, Huacheng said. It's kind of offensive if you can't remember their names. The heavenly officials loved their reputations. Huacheng clicked his tongue. If they can be offended by such a small thing, then they're nothing but narrow-minded trash. After chatting that much, Hualian didn't want to dig too deeply into the subject, lest they touch on something sensitive, so he changed the topic away from the differences between the two realms. He glanced at the closed wooden door and wondered. Banyue, that child, I wonder when she'll come back in. Okay, we're going back from that topic. I'm gonna take a little sip of water. What of airplanes during a read? Yeah, I like that we have an airport. It's the only way I can ever get out of here. So, but they do come around a lot. Like, there are especially many arrivals and departures in the evenings. So, you know, usually when I record. And the runway just happens to be situated so that this is an area where they either come in or take off. So we do have a lot of airplanes in this area. All right, let's see. We're talking about Banyue now. The bold words, "I want to save the common people," returned and reverberated in his head, pouring a mess of images in his mind, and Hualian had to forcibly push them down. Yeah, it brings up the past, huh? Just then Huacheng spoke up. "Those were good words." "Which ones?" Hualian asked. "I want to save the world, the common people," Huacheng replied leisurely. Hualian was thunderstruck. He flipped over and curled into a shrimp. Shrimp. Shrimplian? Shrimp Hualian? He flipped over and curled into a shrimp, wishing for another pair of arms so he could cover both his face and his ears. He groaned. "Sunlong?" Huacheng seemed to have nudged closer and deadpanned right behind him. What's wrong with those words?" Huacheng wouldn't back down, and Hualian couldn't win against him, so he flipped back over and said helplessly, "It's silly." "What's there to be afraid of?" Huacheng said. "To dare speak of the people of the world, whether to save or to destroy them, is admirable. The former is harder than the latter, so it's even more respectable." Hualian shook his head, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. "If you dare to speak, you have to be able to follow through and actually achieve it." He laid an arm over his eyes. "Oh, all right. I suppose that's nothing. What Banyue said was already pretty good. I've said sillier things when I was even younger. Oh my god, it's coming, guys, it's coming." Huacheng laughed. "Oh, like what? Let's hear it." Hualian was pensive for a moment, and he smiled softly as he chased his memories. "Many, many years ago, there was someone who told me they couldn't live on anymore. They asked me for the reason they were alive and what was the meaning of their life." He glanced at Huacheng. "Do you know how I answered? It might have just been Hualian's imagination, but there seemed to be light in Huacheng's eyes." He asked softly. "How did you answer?" Hualian said. "I told them, if you don't know how to live on anymore, then live for me. If you don't know the meaning of your life, then make me that meaning and use me as your reason to live." As Hualian spoke, he couldn't help but let out a small laugh and shook his head. "Even now, I don't understand what I was thinking back then. How did I ever have the courage to tell someone to make me the meaning of their life?" Huacheng was silent, and Hualian continued. "It really was something that could only have been said back then. Long ago, I really thought I was invincible and fearless. If you asked me to say the same words now, there is no way they could ever leave my lips again." Hualian continued slowly. "I don't know what happened to that person afterward. But to become someone's reason to live is already a heavy responsibility. How dare I speak of the world? Silence blanketed Puchi Shrine. After a while, Sanlong said quietly, "Something like saving the common people. It really doesn't matter how you do it. But although brave, it's foolish." "Yeah," Hualian agreed. Huacheng continued. "Although foolish, it's brave." Hualian grinned. Thanks. You're welcome, Huachang said. The two stared at the holy ceiling of Puchi Shrine in amiable silence, and Huachang spoke up again after a while. You know, Your Highness, we've only known each other for a few days. Is it all right for you to say so much to me? Well, Hualian huffed. What's the problem? Whatever. Those who have known each other for decades can become strangers in a day. We met by chance, and we may part by chance. If we like each other, then we shall continue to meet. If we don't, then we shall part. At the end of the day, there's no banquet in the world that doesn't come to an end. So let's take it easy, and I'll say what I want to say. That was so good. The conversation isn't over, but I really like that line. If we like each other, then we shall continue to meet. If we don't, then we shall part. At the end of the day, there's no banquet in the world that doesn't come to an end. This is so cool. Huachang seemed to have chuckled. Then suddenly he said, If. Hualian turned his head to face him. If? Huachang didn't turn around but continued to stare at the dilapidated ceiling of the shrine, and Hualian could only see this handsome young man's left profile. Huachang said softly, If I was ugly. Huh? Hualian got great. Huachang finally turned his head slightly. If my true appearance is ugly, would you still want to see it? Hualian was taken back. Is it? Although there's no real reason, I never thought your true appearance would be too horrible looking. Who knows? Huachang said, half-jokingly. What if I'm discolored, disfigured, ugly, monstrous, and horrible? What will you do? This really is, would you love me if I was a worm? What the heck? He's literally drop dead gorgeous, like most beautiful man on earth. Would you love me if I was ugly? Oh my gosh. I feel like I haven't stopped a lot, but like I feel like the text speaks for itself. I feel like we all know by now just the kinds of feelings that he's been sitting with when he's listening to Hualian say these things. Okay. At first, Hualian thought this line of inquiry was rather fascinating. So the overlord of the ghost realm, the one called the devil incarnate and feared by all the heavens, would care about his looks. Well, he wants to look good for you, Hualian. He wants to look like your type. But when he thought about it deeply, he didn't think it was very funny anymore. Yeah. He vaguely recalled in the many rumored backstories of Huachang, one said that he was a disfigured child from birth, or something along those lines. If that was true, then he must have grown up discriminated against by others. Yep. Maybe that was why he was particularly sensitive about his appearance. You nailed it, Hualian. You nailed it. You're nailing this. Thus, Hualian chewed on his words. Well, he used his warmest, most sincere voice. To be honest, the reason I want to see your true appearance is only because, you see, we're already like this. Huachang piped up. Like what? Well, we're sort of friends now, right? So if we're friends, then we should be honest with each other. My wanting to see your true appearance has nothing to do with how you look. You asked what I would do, but of course I won't do anything. Don't worry, as long as it's your real face, I'm sure I'll... Why are you laughing? I'm being serious. When Hualian reached the last part, he could feel the youth next to him shaking. He froze for a moment at first and thought, are my words so moving that he's touched like this? And was too embarrassed to turn around to see. But after a while, the soft laughter from next to him very obviously leaked out. Hualian felt rather deflated and placed a hand on his shoulder to give it a little push. Oh my gosh. A little push. We're doing little pushes. I love this. Sanlang, why are you laughing so much? Did I say something wrong? Hua Chang immediately stopped shaking and turned around. No, you're very right. Hualian felt even more deflated at those words. You're so insincere. I promise you won't find another person more sincere than me in this world, Hua Chang replied. Hualian didn't want to talk anymore and flipped over, his back facing Hua Chang. Forget it, time to sleep, don't talk. Hua Chang chuckled again, then said, next time. Even though he was determined to sleep, hearing Hua Chang speak, Hualian couldn't resist replying. What's next time? Hua Chang whispered. The next time we meet, I will use my true appearance to greet you. There was much to ponder about those words, and Hualian should have kept questioning him. But after a long night, an unstoppable drowsiness overtook him, and he couldn't hang on, falling into a deep slumber. The next morning, we're already in the next morning. Oh no! It's the end. We're nearing the end of season 1, guys. Which means, of course, that we should play the song. We should play Hong Duo. Let's do it. The next morning, when Hualian woke, the spot next to him was already empty. He scrambled to get up and walked around the shrine in a daze. When he opened the door, there were no figures to be seen outside. It seemed like it was true. The youth had indeed left. However, the fallen leaves had been swept into a pile, and next to that pile stood a small clay pot. Hualian took the pot inside and placed it on the altar. Right then, he suddenly noticed that there seemed to be something extra on his usually bare chest. He raised his hand to touch it, and found just below the cursed collar there was an exceedingly thin chain hanging loose and light. Hualian immediately removed it from his neck. Turned out it was a silver chain, so thin and light that he hadn't felt anything on him before. And dangling from the chain, there was a crystal clear ring. The story continues in Heaven Official's Blessing, Volume 2. We did it. We did it, guys. We finished Volume 1 of Heaven Official's Blessing. This illustration is so nice. It is so cute. And also another illustration where we can clearly see Hualian's cursed shackle. And yes, of course, the ring. The ring. I can't believe it. We did it. We did it, guys. It is a really good chapter. Once again, this chapter is more or less one-to-one the Donghua episode, and it needed to be. It really needed to be. I think that this is one of the first hints. This chapter is one of the first hints that we get of Hua Chang being connected to Hualian in the past, because of how he reacts to this story that Hualian is telling. I think that is our first confirmation as readers that, yeah, this boy is very likely this person that Hualian is talking about So I think this is when you're supposed to start suspecting that, yeah, Huachang is from the Shanle era, and he did know Hualian back then. I don't know if you would start suspecting that he is the child. But guys, let's be honest, like... Ming fell down. Ming fell down. He fell down. I'm so sorry, Ming, for making you fall down. I got so put out. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry, Ming. You can rest here somewhere. Stay over here, maybe. Stay there. Don't slide. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I won't let Gaga touch you if you start moving. Stay there. Like, guys, look at this. Look at this. The moment this cover, like, is there, you might start suspecting, I think. I think you might start suspecting. I think the bandage boy kind of makes you feel like, that could be the bandage kid as well. But I think that with this scene at the end of this book, you should start connecting the dots here. I don't know if I would have connected them just yet. That's one of the things I'm trying to figure out. When would I have understood that Huachang was the child that Hualian saved? I think that maybe I would start to suspect, but be like, nah, come on, it can't be at this point. Because the moment you know that he is from Shanle, you should start to be like, oh, well, Like, there is something there. There's something about that. We get the confirmation of this seed, because we're planting the seed, and we get the confirmation of Huachang is connected to Shanle at the very end of season 2. So yeah, there's a lot of things here. There's a lot. I'm very happy. At the same time, I feel a little sad. I feel a little sad that this one is over already. It's such a beautiful book. But lucky me, the next one is even more beautiful. This was my favorite of all the covers of the English edition. So I'm super happy that this is the book I'll be holding in my hands for the next, I don't know, probably a month. It's probably gonna take me another month to do this. Oh my lord. I'll try my best. But this is gonna be great. Next time I'll have a look at the cover properly, look into the jacket and so on, because I know there's like a few little goodies in there that we have to take a look at. And I also know that this is gonna, excitingly, I know that this is gonna be season 2, but at some point I heard this stops, like we're no longer in season 2. We are in what people hope is gonna be season 3. So there's gonna be new stuff. There's gonna be new stuff in this. And I'm so excited about it. I am super excited to get to the new content. I have no idea how I'm gonna start reacting to that though. And these videos might end up being hours long, even if there's just one chapter being read. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me for the reading tonight, because again, it was super spontaneous. I can't believe that we went through with it. And I'm like, while I'm reading, it's really hard for me to keep up with the comments, so I try to like take breaks and look up a little bit, but I probably won't be too responsive to the comments while I'm reading. I'll try to get better at this, since this was my first time doing this as well. Yeah, thank you guys so much. So, guys, Heaven Official's Blessing Volume 2. The touch of a hand, a roll of the dice. Hualian has confirmed that the bewitching youth Sanlang is actually Huachang, one of the 4 calamities, and the supreme ghost despised by all heavenly officials. Still, he has a trouble matching the terror of his companion's reputation with the charming, clever, and protective young man he's come to know. When a distress signal leads Hualian into Ghost City, a bustling metropolis containing all the horrors and delights of the dead, he sees Huachang in his element and his true form for the first time. But despite their chemistry and care for one another, There are missions to fulfill and secrets to uncover, and Hualian's centuries of troubled history are never far behind. Yeah, we know, we've been new. Again, this is just waiting for us to discover now, and I'm so excited. I am absolutely, I am thrilled. I'm thrilled to see how this whole arc is being presented in Volume 2. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm so happy that this was okay, that it was nice to just sit and listen to this, because again, first time I'm doing it, so it's completely new to me. But this is usually how I read by myself as well, except there are a lot more quiet pauses. I feel like maybe I felt like I had to try and be a bit more, interactive, because I was doing a live reading of this. So maybe I'll do a live reading again for like a special chapter in this book as well, because it was fun. It's fun just spending time with you guys. But generally, I think that I'll be doing the videos, because I can do them in my own time. And, during the weekdays, it's such a bad time to run a live session, because everyone is either at work or, sleeping. So for the time being, I'll stick with the videos and maybe do another live for like a fun chapter or two. Okay. I can't believe that there's still like 95 people here, guys. Thank you guys so much for staying with me. I can't believe that there are so many people who showed up for this very, very suddenly announced live stream. So thank you guys so much again for being a part of this community and for all your support. We're spending so much time just discussing these books and thinking about them in the Discord server as well. So if you do have the chance, join my Discord server. The link is down in the description, and come talk Heaven's Official's Blessing with us. We're having so much fun with it. Gosh. I would love to sit and chat more, but honestly, I drove for 4 hours today. I am absolutely knackered, and I had an emotional read-through of this book now. So honestly, I think it's best for us to just end it here, and then I'll see you guys next time with another video. So again, thank you guys so much for coming. This has been so much fun. This has been Amelia, aka Spaced Out Puffin, and I will see you in the next one.